Chapter 2, Little Christian is found by evangelist. When little Christian went out the next morning, the sun was shining and his companions were running about. They called to him to join them, but he said, "I cannot play. I think we ought to start on our journey." "What a foolish boy you are," they cried, "to be always talking about that celestial city. You had better go and look for it instead of crying up and down and spoiling all our fun." So they ran away and little Christian stayed by himself. Presently, Christina came down the street with her baby sister. She had been standing by when the boys had laughed at Christian the day before, and she had felt very sorry that he should be teased. Christian liked Christina, and he was glad to see her coming. She stopped to speak to him. "You are crying again, little Christian? You should not listen to what the strangers say if it makes you so unhappy. Come into the fields and we will make daisy chains for baby." Little Christian thought he would like that. Christina was gentle, and though she did not believe the stories he had told her about out of his book, she never teased him as the boys did. "You know," he said as they walked along, "I must go to the king because I have a burden to carry and no one but he can take it from me." "Where is your burden?" asked Christina. "It is on my back, and it feels so heavy that it makes me too tired to play." Christina looked very serious. "I think you must be ill, little Christian, if you fancy such things. You haven't any burden on your back." "Ah," said the little rabbit, "you cannot see it, but I can feel that it is there, and I shall always be tired until it is gone." The three children stayed in the fields and were very happy together. But when Christian went home at night, he began to think of the celestial city again and fretted until his nanny was quite angry with him. He had no kind mother to love and comfort him, and his father was one of the great men of the city and had no time to notice his little son. Christian hoped that he would meet Christina again in the morning, but she was busy at home, and the other boys and girls would have nothing to do with him because they said he was dull and stupid and could not play properly. So he wandered off into the fields by himself and sat down upon a bank to think. After a while, he heard a step near to him, and looking up, he saw one of the strangers on his way to the city, an owl with a serious and pleasant face, whose name was Evangelist. He had seen little Christian before, and he turned aside to speak to him. "What are you crying for?" he asked, for there were tears in the child's eyes. Little Christian felt so comforted by the sound of Evangelist's gentle voice that he told him all the troubles at once. How he wished to obey the king, and how his playmates had laughed at him, and how even his nanny and Christina did not believe that the stories about the celestial city were true. Then Evangelist looked at him very kindly. "The stories are all quite true," he said. "The king loves little children. If you will obey him and begin your journey, he will watch over you all the way, and when you reach the celestial city, you will be happy forever." "I would go now," said little Christian, "if I only knew the way." Evangelist turned around and looked across the field, along the path by which he had come. Do you see there is a gate at the other side of the plain?" And he pointed to it with the tip of his wing. But little Christian's eyes were still dim with tears, so he could not see the gate. "Well," said Evangelist, "there is a light shining above it. Can you see that?" "Yes," said the little rabbit. "I think I can. The way to the celestial city is through that gate. Now, I will give you a message from the king." And Evangelist drew out a paper, which he put into little Christian's hand. There were words written upon it in gold and beautiful colors, and Christian read them aloud. "I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. That is the King's promise to all his little children. So do not cry anymore, but go quickly to that gate and knock. One of the King's servants will open it, and he will tell you where to go next.